2021 and beyond business planning. It says a business worth having. That's what my very first broker used to say all the time, that if you're going to have a business, you might as well have one worth having, you know? And I think the problem is a lot of people don't see themselves as business owners, because a lot of times when we come into the real estate business, we come from a background of employment. We got sick of that. No matter who you are here tonight, the one thing we have in common is that we wanted to change our lives, right? Everybody needed a change. We needed to get away from our job. We needed more time. We needed something that was going to get us out of the rut we were in and help us make more money, have more time, and spend more time with our families, whatever it might be. You came to real estate looking for a way out of that. And that's where you're at. But the problem is, once we get into the real estate field, a lot of times people just don't understand where to go from there. This is my philosophy. You're the CEO. You, as a real estate agent, you are a business owner, CEO of your own startup. That's the idea. You are not, we are sponsored by EXP, but you don't work for EXP. You work for yourself. You're an independent contractor. And as an independent contractor, you have to have the mindset of the CEO. As such, your job is to bring in new business every day. A CEO, if a business starts to fail, who's the first person they fire? The CEO. The CEO goes because obviously he's not steering the ship right. So you have to have a mindset and the right focus on building your business and getting new business every day, because success or failure is 100% up to you. You can't blame it on Keller Williams. You can't blame it on EXP. You can't blame it on your broker, your mama, your daddy, or the people at Champions Real Estate School who never taught you how to fill out a contract. The only one that you can blame is you, right? And so what I'm going to do over the course of the next 7 days is to give you, hopefully empower you and equip you with some tools and some philosophies and some techniques and everything you need to be a well-rounded agent that is going to be able to get out there and kick ass and take names. Excuse my language. If you don't like that, it's after hours. I'm off the clock. So establish goals, develop plans, and execute daily. That is what we have to do. This is what a CEO does. You establish goals, you develop plans, and you execute daily. All right. So that being said, we're going to move on down. So 87% of all real estate agents fail in their first year, or first 2 years, I should say. The first year is due to lack of planning and training, proper planning and training. And that's the only reasons that agents fail. I've been doing this for a long time. I've done it. I did it as an agent. I did it as a top producing agent, and I got into the real estate business, and I've trained some top producers, and I've trained some non-producers. And I know the difference between, because they're all trained the same way. And the number one agent in San Antonio for the last several years is one of the agents I trained from the very beginning of her career. And I trained her just like I'm going to train you guys tonight. It's not about what you're about. Sometimes it's not about what you're hearing or it's about what you're doing. And or if it's not about what you're doing, it's about not planning to do what you need to do. So that's what we're going to talk about. The 5 crucial elements of success. You have to have a why, a goal, a plan, a schedule, and a promise. These are the 5 things then when we talk about business planning, we have to have a why, a goal, a plan, a schedule, which we talked about earlier, and a promise. Finding your reason why is the very first step to finding success. Now, how much do you want to make this year? I know you can't answer me. I'm just rhetorically speaking, right? How much do you want to make this year? I've asked many, many agents what they want to make, and everybody says, I just want to make a lot of money. Or they'll throw out $100,000 or a couple of $100,000 or whatever. They haven't sold their first house. They haven't ever done a rental, but they know in their mind coming out of real estate school, they wanted to be a huge success. Nobody ever got out of real estate school and said, I don't care. If I make $20,000, I'm happy. No one says that. Everyone always has big goals in the beginning. The biggest problem is they don't know why, or they haven't dug into their spirit to find out why. Why do you want to make a lot of money? What is it about money, being successful in real estate what is it going to accomplish for you? That's the idea. You have to ask yourself that. So before you go any further, and obviously there's some of the stuff that everybody says, right? Well, I want to take care of my kids. I want a plan B. I don't want to be doing this my whole life. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to jump in the plane, fly off to Europe or wherever, and never think about it. I want to pay off all my debt. I want to be debt free. I want financial freedom. I want retirement. And now all the, not, this is probably not for everybody. There are probably reasons that you're thinking about that, that aren't on this sheet. However, everybody has a reason why. But I ask why do you want to make, say you want to make a bunch of money, or say $200,000. Well, what are you going to do with that $200,000? And what is it that you want to, what is it that you want to accomplish? Ask yourself that. And when you get down to the real reason, then you'll know that you made it. My reason for everything in my life has always been my children, right? I was married young. We had children very young, and I was poor. I don't know if you know what the word PO means, but poor. We were so poor, man. It was crazy. Poor people. When I was growing up, poor people felt sorry for me because I was so poor. Actually, once I started working on my own, I was not that poor. I was just poor, right? So I was able to move across the tracks, but not across town. So, but I told myself I always wanted to give my kids something more than what I had, and then have something to leave behind. I didn't want my kids to struggle, ever know what it's like to struggle. And I know struggling sometimes builds character, but I didn't want my kids to have to struggle for money or anything like that. So that has been my why my entire life. And even now, my kids are old, and not old, but they're grown, and they have their own lives. But that's still what pushes me. What can I leave them behind? I mean, don't get me wrong, I like to have a good time too. And so I probably spend more money than I should on some of that. And they're probably going, Dad, where do you quit spending money? This is my inheritance. But the truth is, that's my why. What is your why? So find out. I had an agent with me. Her name is Gabriella, and she wanted to pay off her house. She paid off her house. She bought another one. And I think she did that in her first year and a half in real estate. But she had a why, and she stuck with it. She stuck with it, and she done it. Now I think she's buying another one right now. It's crazy. So, the truth is, you can do anything you want to do. That's the message throughout this entire class, that you can do anything you want to do. We can all do. You say you don't have enough time in the day. You say you don't have the right mindset. You just have to change it. You just have to change. Say, I can, and I will, because you can do anything you think is important. I don't have this quote on here, but if it's important to you, you'll find a way. If it's not, you'll find an excuse. Because I guarantee you, if you had something you really wanted to do every day, you would get out and do it. But if you don't want to do it, you'll find a reason not to. So this is basically broke down using the calculator I showed you a little while ago. I'm giving you access to make $100,000 over the next 12 months. Or you can even quicker than that, depending on in this market. Gee whiz, it's crazy. But over the next 12 months, to make $100,000, you need to make 9 contacts a day. It's going to give you 6 appointments a month and 17 deals a year. That's what you need. And reduction to the ridiculous, 9 contacts a day. If you would have told me when I was 21 years old that I can make $100,000 by making 9 contacts a day, I'd be making 40 contacts a day. I was hungry. I wanted to do more with my life. So what do you want to do with your life? What is it that you want to accomplish? Is it worth making 9 contacts a day? And we're going to talk about how to do that. Obviously, if you want to double that, you could do 18 contacts a day, 12 appointments a month, 34 deals a year, and you're going to make a lot of money. 9 contacts a day equals $100,000. So you figure that out and double, triple, or quadruple it, and that's how much money you can make in this business. And you can make any amount of money you want to make, but figure out the why, and then we're going to talk about how. Figure out your why, and we'll talk about how. So then we have to schedule an action plan. We need to come up with a plan. Now we know that it boils down to how many contacts we make every day. How many contacts? I know why I want to make the money, and I know I need to make so many contacts a day. So how am I going to fit that into my schedule? I mean, how am I going to fit into the schedule when I haven't even finished watching The Mandalorian yet, right? We have to binge The Mandalorian, and then Bridgerton, or whatever that stuff is that people are watching, and Queen's Gambit. Oh my gosh, I have to watch all these shows. And have we even finished The Crown yet? But the truth is, you got to figure out, where are we going to fit our time? What are we going to do? What's most important to you? Are your kids and your financial freedom more important than binging a show on Netflix? That's what we got to figure out. Is it more important than hanging out with your friends? I mean, sometimes you have to schedule the time. You're not going to give up time with your family, friends, and Netflix. But what you're going to do, you're going to block your time out, and you're going to tell yourself, okay, this is the time I'm going to do this every day. The most important thing you can do in business is create a daily productivity centered schedule and stick to it. Two of the hardest things I've ever had to do and trying to get agents to do and to continue with is, number one, create a schedule. Because it's like, if you write it down, then you feel like you're obligated, and yeah, you should feel that way. So a lot of people don't like to write down their goals or their schedule. So, and then have a schedule, but then forget all about it. I'll do it for a week and I'm not going to do it because I don't feel like it. And people never tell me, if I say, why did you not do this? Why did you not follow your schedule? No one ever says I didn't feel like it or I didn't want to. They always say, well, I didn't have time. I had something come up. Things are tough. I had a showing. I had an inspection. I had this and that. Again, if it was something you really wanted to do, you would have stuck to your schedule. You would have said to somebody, look, I have a schedule. And if that's already planned out, I cannot meet you during that time because I already have something on my schedule. But when you say I wasn't able to stick to my schedule, the truth is because you didn't want to. I didn't do it because I didn't want to. So when someone tells me, and all these excuses are going on, and all I can hear is that it wasn't a priority, and I don't care, and I don't want to. So this is what a schedule looks like, and I've given you the spreadsheet. You can use a spreadsheet, and you can print it out and do it by hand, or you can keep doing it on the Google sheet, or download it into a PowerPoint, whatever you want to do. I recommend downloading it. Myself, I like PowerPoint, but you can use the Google Sheets as well. So you notice there's 3 colors on here: green, yellow, and pink. The green is money, right? Money time, prospecting time, money making activity time. The yellow is administrative time, busy work, things that I have to do, but I don't like to do, but I need to do them. But a lot of times, if you'll notice, agents are way more busy with busy work than they are with money making work. And then they wonder why they're not making the money they need to make. They're like, man, this market's so hot. How come I'm not selling anything? Well, because you're keeping yourself doing things and you're not focusing on the right things. You haven't blocked out your time to really prospect for business. You're not thinking like a CEO. A CEO says, where and how can I go get business? I need to write it down on my schedule. And every day from 9 until 12, I'm going to be out trying to drum up business. And then in the evenings from 6 to 7 or 6 to 7:30 or whatever, I'm going to go out on the appointments I set, or I'm going to try to set some more appointments. And that's what a CEO or a business owner does. They don't sit around thinking about, I hope something falls in my lap. They go out in there and they get it. But we have to have it on our schedule. We put it on our schedule so that we can get out there and get it done. So, and then you'll see here, there's a lot more pink than there is anything else. And that's for your personal time and family time. So you could do whatever you want to. So when you start blocking out your time and you start allotting time during the day for your prospecting, for appointments, for showings, whatever it might be that you block out, you'll find that people, when you tell people I'm tied up during that time, but I have more time during, after 1 o'clock. After 1 o'clock, I'm yours, right? And they understand. It's only when you start giving up your time that you have blocked out that people start taking advantage of you and you don't get your stuff done. Okay. So, and I'm not going to get it way into time management today or anything because we don't have time. But what I do want to talk about is writing out a schedule. And you'll see what I'm talking about prospecting. You're going to have time to prospect and to go on appointments. So in every day, once you block it out, you have to say nothing can take that time's place outside of some tragedy, right? God forbid a tragedy happens. That's the only thing that would pull you away from your schedule. Someone says, well, when can I call you? Well, I'm available every day from 12 on. I'm tied up pretty much until 12, but after that, I'm all yours. You set the expectation with your client and the clients are okay. And then if they try to call you during the morning and you don't answer, you can always tell them after 12, say, hey, I called you back as quick as I could. Remember, I told you that I wasn't available usually until about noon. And they say, oh yeah, that's right. Because you set the expectations. That's another story we're going to talk about, but you have to decide when you're going to do something, block it out. And then you're going to have so much time. You have so much time to do everything you need to do. You'll be surprised. You'll be shocked. The fast facts here are the power of a written goal is what separates the talkers from the doers. The doers the 13% have written goals and schedules. The 87% we talked about do not. All right, so we have to have, we talked about a why, a plan, a schedule, and a promise, right? Now, a promise is something you make and something you break, right? All of us would say, no, everybody will agree that we should keep our word, correct? Everyone says that. But how often have you not kept your word to yourself, right? How often have you not kept your word to your family by saying, I'm going to work really hard and I'm going to put 3 to 4 or 5 hours a day into this business, but then something comes up and you don't, right? For whatever reason, that's breaking the promise to yourself. So we have to look in the mirror and promise ourselves that we're going to do the things that we need to do, because the promise of real estate and of entrepreneurship that happens when you become a real estate agent, especially with EXP, there's so many opportunities to make a lot of money in this. And the money is not the end game. The money is just a conduit, right? We're trying to get to where we want to be in life. And where do we want to be? Is we have to make a promise to ourselves that we're going to do that. There is a great video, if you ever get a chance. I'm not going to play here again just because I don't have the time, but it's called, if you look up because I said I would, and then you put TED Talk on there, because I said I would, TED Talk, and watch that. It's about 20 minutes long, really, really good. A guy talks about the power of just keeping your word, right? And it's so powerful. It sounds easy. It sounds like something that you would, but it really drives it home. And I really believe that what I really like agents to do is either get a card or a piece of paper, and maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow, we're going to write down, like in this case, I will make 20 new contacts each and every day and won't quit until I achieve my goals because I said I would. And then take a selfie or have somebody take a picture of you with your card like this. I will make 10 new contact, or whatever the promise is. You don't have to be this promise. This is an example. You make a promise, but this promise is to yourself, and then you share it on social media and with yourself, because you're sharing everything from your breakfast to your kids, right, on social media anyway. So you might as well share your promises. The thing is, you share this promise to yourself, then you have other people holding you accountable. And so you remember, hey, I have to do this because I said I would, for no other reason. No other reason. I have big dreams. I have big plans. I have things I want to do in life, and I want to do that. And I'm going to do it with no excuses because I said I would. All right. So all that being said, we have our why, our goal, our schedule, and our promise. So let's talk about a business plan. Okay. So I've broken down this business plan that I've given you this sheet on ricktraining.com. This my business plan is, my tagline is, my business name is, my tagline is, and my mission statement is at the top of it. So you want to start looking at your business like a business. Quit thinking about yourself like some type of lowly employee of EXP Realty, because you're not. You are the bee's knees. You look in the mirror and say, I am the bee's knees. I am a badass, right? And there's that word again. I'm very sorry, but I can't help it. So I am awesome, right? Look at yourself. And I am a CEO. I am the CEO of my business. And my business name is, it could be your name, right? You don't advertise. You don't have to have a team name or anything fancy. Your name is, my name is Rick Tankersley, and that's what I advertise for, right? If I want to advertise myself as Rick Tankersley, that's my business, right? And my tagline is, whatever my integrity, experience, results, right? That's what my tagline is. And then I have a mission statement, because you need to write these things down and come up with who you are. And so you know who you are, so you can communicate that to the world and remind yourself when you look at your plan, this is who I am. This is who I am, and this is what I'm going to do this year. Okay. My business name is Rick Tankersley. My tagline is experience, integrity, experience, results. And I'm going to show you my mission statement here in a minute, so you kind of have an idea of what that looks like. My specialty is first-time home buyers and move-up buyers. That might be yours. It might be luxury homes. It might be whatever you want it to be, right? What is your specialty? And then this is important. This is important to come up with who your support team is, right? And I'll just talk a minute about this, because I could talk all day about this, because it's very important. You need to find a CPA, a mentor, a lender, an inspector, an attorney, an admin person, if you want to go that route, a title company, and a home warranty company that come highly recommended. Okay. These things are a dime a dozen out there, right? But you want someone that you can have in your phone. You don't want a CPA that has never done real estate. You want to call up some top producers and say, hey, who do you recommend as a CPA? Find yourself a mentor, but not someone that on the same level as you, right? Find somebody who is a really good producer that you feel like you'll connect with. Call them up or email and say, hey, do you mind if I'm going to put you down as my mentor? Not that we're going to be holding hands or anything like that, but if you could just at least be there to let me bounce questions off of you every now and then, right? And everybody would be flattered, right, that you ask them to be a mentor. And it could be it doesn't have to be someone in real estate business, but it helps, right? To have somebody who's going to mentor you, answer questions, just kind of, and some of you may have been assigned a mentor, but you want to have somebody who's going to last forever, right? And if that mentor is not good, then find somebody else, right? A lender. Lenders are a dime a dozen. I say a dime a dozen, the good ones are 1 in a million. You need to talk to people who are producing. Now, when I say that, I say it with all the love in the world, because there are a lot of lenders out there that are super nice, and they've taken a lot of agents to lunch, and they've met with people, and some of those agents have never even closed a deal with them, but they'll refer you to them. Don't do that. Don't give somebody business just because they're nice to you. Ask somebody who's doing a lot of business, hey, who's your preferred lender? And then ask that person who's doing a lot of business, who's your backup lender? So that you have those names and you put those names down there. Then you call these lenders up and you have a conversation. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. Inspector, the same thing. You do not want to pull one off of Google or out of the yellow pages, or just because they brought candy to an office or something, or to a presentation. What you want to do, you want to ask producers that you know. Now, when I say producers, I'm talking about 10 million plus, 10 million, at least 8 million. Don't ask somebody who's not doing at least 8 million who they would use, right? Because I don't care. I don't care who they're using, who somebody else is using. I want to know who these guys who are killing it in real estate are using, because that means that these guys aren't screwing up their deals, right? That's the bottom line. I need people who I can trust, who I click with, but most of all, who are going to get my deals done. And if you have a big producer, you know their deals are getting done. An attorney, God forbid, you never need one, but it's always good to have somebody that you can just pick up a phone and call, or refer your clients to if they ask. An admin person, I don't do my own admin work because I cost too much, right? I'm a CEO, and I know of my business, and I know that my hourly wage is a way more than $10 to $15 an hour that I would pay an admin. So I don't want to do paperwork. I'm going to get an admin to do my paperwork for me. Maybe you can't do that just yet, but I would definitely put that down as a goal. Title work, make sure you're using title work. Same thing, same philosophy as it goes with the lender, the inspector, and the home warranty. These are all, if you don't have one, that's good. Or if you've never closed anything with the people that you think you're going to use. I know, oh, I love Carolyn, I love Johnny because they're so nice to me and they're going to do good by me. Check them out and make sure that people that are producing a lot have used them or would recommend them. If not, drop them like yesterday's news. Okay. All right. So mission statement. This is what I was talking about. We put a business name, tagline, and a mission statement. This is mine, right? Mission statement. Here's my pretty little logo, Tankersley Real Estate Group. This is my registered team name. Experience, integrity, results that's my tagline. And the mission of Tankersley Real Estate Group is to be the most professional, knowledgeable, and caring real estate team in the San Antonio area. We will grow our business by providing stellar service to every client and strive to be a positive influence in all that we do. We conduct our business with honesty, integrity, and respect. We will go above and beyond to ensure we provide the best client experience possible. And that's my key line, the best client experience possible. You'll hear that more when we get into our other presentations. So this is what I'm talking about. Come up with something. It's not going to be overnight, but come up with something that you can express yourself and communicate with somebody about who you are and what you do. And then have your team, have people behind you that you can trust. That's the goal. You need to know who you are and what you're doing, and then you have a schedule. And now you're on your way to being a real business. This right here will show you, hey, at least I look like a real business on paper. And now I just need to start acting like it. I'm a CEO on paper. Now I need to go out and get some business and show the world what I can do, right? So that's what we do. So here's And the next page will say, or a little bit further down the page, it'll show your goals. Now I could have just put the annual goals on here. The reason I didn't do that, I broke it into quarters, because you may want to start out slower, and how many units you're going to close this month, and then how many you're going to close the next month. But what I would do, I would come up with your annual first. I would come up with the annual first, and then I would say, and then I would break that down into quarters. How many do I want to do every month? How much volume do I want to do every quarter? And then this column is how many agents do I want to attract? You don't have to attract agents. I happen to want to attract agents, so that's why I came to EXP. And so I have that in my goals. How many what percentage of my business do I want to be listings, and what percentage do I want to be buyers? So right now, there's a very good chance that the biggest part of your business are buyers. There's some agents that are doing more listings, newer agents, but newer agents tend to lean more toward buyers. My job and my goal in life is to help you even that out and become more balanced. I want you to have at least a 50-50, and a really healthy business would be a 60-40 leaning towards listings, 60% listings and 40% buyers. That's what we're going to shoot for. So, but right now you can just fill this out. You can fill it out now with just your annual goals, and you can start breaking down those quarters once you see how your business is going. Okay, so let me see something here. Let me just make sure that I'm talking a lot. I don't want to be talking and then not have you guys there. All right, looks like you're still here. So, okay, so we're going to move on down to business building. So business building, we need to decide what type of prospecting are we going to do. Now you're like, Rick, I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, we're going to talk about that here in a few minutes, right? So once we're done with tonight, you'll know what type of prospecting that you really think that you're going to do that's going to be effective for you, because everybody's not the same, right? We all have to put down, what am I going to do? I'm going to prospect. Myself, I would do FSBOs, expireds, and sphere of influence. Those are the three that I would put as my top three, right? And there's all kinds of other ways to prospect. Some people might say sphere of influence, ad calls or whatever, right? But I do FSBOs, expireds, and sphere of influence. That's my stuff. So days of the week I'm going to prospect. That should be 5 days a week. 5 days a week. Now someone's going, what about 7 days? Well, you can do 7 days a week, but gosh, you need to rest every now and then. If you're doing what I'm going to teach you how to do, you'll be able to make all the money you're going to want to make working 5 days a week. Okay. And then pretty soon you'll be able to take your weekends off, because man, who wants to work weekends all the time? We're all working weekends because we think that our clients are in control. We haven't learned how to control the process. Once you learn to control the process and you're making the money you want to make, then you can work 5 hours a day and 5 days a week and make all the money you want to. So how many days a week are you going to prospect right now? You may want to do 5, 6, 7. It's up to you. The kicker is, how many hours a day are you going to prospect? I'm going to do 5 days a week, and how many hours a day are you going to put into prospecting? Now, remember, this is not just a hypothetical. This is your business plan. This is what you're promising yourself that you're going to do to build your business. So if you don't think you can do more than 1 hour prospecting a day, then do not put more than 1 hour. But if you're going to push yourself to do 2 to 3 hours of prospecting, put that on there and work like heck to get that done, right? So how many days a week am I going to prospect? 5. How many hours a day I'm going to prospect? 3, or whatever. That would be a good numbers. But this is up to you. How many days of the week? Day of the week that I'm going to visit builders? My day for visiting builders is Wednesday. So you can pick the days you want. We'll talk about this later, but what day do I want to go visit new builds and talk to reps and all that stuff? We'll do that on Wednesday. Your day, maybe Friday, whatever your schedule looks like. I thought I put types of prospecting in there twice. So excuse me. Number of ads that I'm going to post daily. I recommend posting 5 to 10 ads a day. We're going to talk about that a little later too, but no less than 5 a day. You should do at least 5 a day, 5 days a week. So you should come up with a number, how many ads you're going to post every day, and promise yourself you're going to do it by writing it down here, right? If it's 1, put it 1. If it's 10, put 10. It doesn't matter, as long as you're doing it consistently. I'm going to practice and role play scripts. And I know that right now you've never done this, and nor do you want to do this, or does it feel like it's going to be fun to do, but put some time in there every day to practice a script, right? To practice, you can practice in a mirror, you can practice with your mom or your kids or your aunt or uncle or your dog or whoever will listen to you, right? Just practice the scripts because you want those scripts to be embedded into your brain. You want to hide them there in the crevices of your brain, so that when someone says something to you, you'll be able to give them a really quick answer. I'm going to block out time on my schedule to practice role play scripts, and my accountability partner is this person, and I'm going to talk to them so many times a week. So if I was your accountability partner, you would put my accountability partner is Rick Tankersley, and I'm going to talk with them one time a week, right? Or whatever you want to do. So come up with somebody. Now, this person does not have to be a real estate person. It just has to be someone that you said, here's this card. I promise I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make this much money. And I need somebody to talk to me once a week to keep me from straying. Now, I want to give you a secret, right? Coaching programs suck, right? Coaching programs, but they work a lot of times. And the reason they work is because people pay for them. And you pay for them, they hold you accountable for doing certain. I don't know if any, I've been in a bunch of them, and I have friends that pay for some, and I have some bootleg coaching programs that I've gotten my hands on. I won't tell you from where, but I pretty much know every coaching program out there, and I know what they do and know what they say, and they all say the same dang thing. They just package it differently. No matter if they've advertised on Facebook, this is not the way you practice in the 21st century. This is the way you should practice real estate in the 21st century. And then you take away the packaging, you're like, man, I just found something new. I'm all excited. I spent $1,000 on this, or $997 on this deal, and I'm going to be rich, and open it up. And it's the same thing I learned from Mike Ferry. So it's just, they're all the same, but the difference is the accountability. That's where the coaching comes in, is because they usually have you pay a good amount of money for this weekly or monthly coaching, whatever they charge you, whatever they're going to do. And it's like going to Weight Watchers, right? Weight Watchers, because you don't want to show up at Weight Watchers and haven't lost any weight, because then it's going to be like you're wasting your time because someone's looking at your scale. It's the same thing when you show up to your coach, you're like, well, I didn't do what you said I was going to do, because my coach used to tell me, I was paying $1,000 a month, and they said, well, if you don't do this, then we can't coach you. We can't help you. So if you don't do it, we're going to not coach you, but we're still going to take your money, because they already have my credit card on file. So that's what a coach does. But you need an accountability partner, and don't go out and pay for one. Just get somebody that cares enough about you to be a little mean at you. Don't make it your spouse, okay? Your spouse or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your significant other, because that is not somebody you want to be your accountability partner. Because what will happen is you'll be like, honey, would you be my accountability partner? And they say, sure, I'll do that. So what I need you to do is hold me accountable to the things I'm supposed to be doing. Great, I can do that. So pretty soon it's going to be like, did you sell anything today? Would you get off my back? So that's not fun, right? You don't get it. That's what happens. So get with somebody who's more objective and not so close to the situation, and won't not cause any marital strife. Okay, so do that. Get yourself an accountability partner. And then the last couple of pages here, this is probably, it looks like it's backwards, but I promise you it's not, because the most important things were up front. My annual income goal this is where you came up with your annual income goal. What do you want to make this year, and why? So you fill this out. My annual income goal is $100,000 because I want to, and then you start filling this out. And you fill this out. Nobody ever has to see this except you and maybe your accountability partner, right? But tell yourself, and so you can look at this all the time and remember, I'm going to make $150,000 this year because I want to pay off all my debt, and I want to have money in the bank or whatever, right? Because I want to pay for my kids' college and still be able to afford my boat. Whatever it is that you want to say, right? Whatever, everybody has a unique situation, but you need to write it down. My goal is this because I want to do this, okay? To obtain this goal, I need to close X amount of transactions, and that's where our calculator comes in, and at an average price of this. So we know 250,000 or 220,000 at 17 deals a year is probably going to get me where I need to go, right? So you need to figure that out and write that down. To achieve this goal, I have to go on so many appointments. This all comes directly from the calculator. To achieve my appointment goal, I have to make so many contacts a day, 5 days a week. So that's where we're pulling all this information directly from the calculator, because we know what they are. To achieve my goals, I'm going to schedule so many hours a day, 5 days a week for prospecting. My primary sources for contacts are, right, physical expires, sphere of influence, and ad calls, whatever it might be. I will attend so many training and coaching events per month. no matter who you are, how old you are, how long you've been in the business, you need to continue training and coaching of some kind, right? You need to get it. You need to keep doing it. And don't think, well, I've already learned everything I need to learn. I went through that 7 days. What else is there? Always go to more training. Get someone that you know is good. If you don't know, ask me and I'll tell you if they're any good or not. Confidentially, I am a training snob, so I will not let you go somewhere. I will not recommend someone I think is going to give you BS, right? To achieve this, I'm going to block out so many hours a week on my calendar for training and coaching. I will read X amount of instructional, motivational, inspirational books per month. To achieve this, I'm going to block out so many hours a week on my calendar for reading. You should be reading every day, right? I'm not going to go into this. This next one is almost the same thing, but it's all about attraction. I'm going to attract so many agents per month. I'm going to contact so many agents. I'm going to watch videos about attracting agents, because I want, not only do I want to make a whole bunch of money in real estate, I want to build my passive income, my residual, so I can retire when I want to retire. I'll give you guys a glimpse into my whys. Is I'm about 2 years into a 5-year plan right now. I plan on being, probably, what's the word for it? I'm going to disappear in 3 years. No one's ever going to see me again. But it's going to be not a bad thing. I'll be on somewhere tropical probably, because I want to retire in another 3 years. And of course, can't do that unless I have a goal and a plan and a why and a promise, right? So that's what I've been monitoring that for many, many years. So, all right. So that's the end of that presentation. Today, I will do what others won't. And this is true, what others won't. So tomorrow I can do what others can't. So that is that presentation. I hope you can go back in that and look at it every now and then to give yourself an idea of what I need to do. Print out the whole, print out the business plan, fill it out, and then put it somewhere where you can read it constantly, or read it every day. Because if you don't read it every day, it's easy to get lost and easy to forget, right? You want to make sure that you're doing what you need to do. In order to do what you need to do, you have to keep it in front of you. You're going to have a schedule. You're going to have a schedule, a plan, a why, and a promise, right? That's what we need. And then we have our business plan. Our business plan is going to keep us moving forward with our accountability partners that are going to say, hey, what's wrong? If you don't do this, I'm going to kick your butt, right? That's what you need, someone who's willing to do that for you. All right, so write your questions down. We're going to keep rolling because I got to go back into that next presentation, but I will come back and answer any questions that you guys want me to. I just took this all off of I had to see your faces. I had to come back and see your faces real quick to make sure you were still here and not asleep. Now, I don't know if all these people that you're not showing me your faces, if you're not asleep or not, but you can see I'm not asleep. So hi, how you doing? All right, so but I'm going to go back into stealth mode now. I'm going to turn my picture off. I'm sorry to deprive you of that, but I'm going to get back into my presentation. I'm going to go back to the one that is share here. Excuse me. All right, where'd it go? So tell me if you see, if Wendy Thomas, I see you looking there. Hi, how are you? Can you tell me, do you see, you can just give me a thumbs up or something. Do you see Destination Next Level? Hold on. Does it say Destination Next Level? Okay, very good. All right, so I just want to make sure that we're all looking at the same thing. And you're the only one I see on my screen now. So you and I guess I could scroll down and see some more people. All right, so now we're going to talk about the even more fun stuff, right? Generating leads, because that's what everybody wants, right? Everybody wants leads. And I believe that leads are also a dime a dozen. I believe that leads are easy to find. I believe it's harder to convert them than, and so you have to know how to convert leads, and you have to, when you get them. So that's the idea. So we're going to talk about all of that. That is going to be another running theme throughout our next few days, our processes and systems, right? When we have processes and systems in place, we're not just flying by the seat of our pants. So so when you fill out this presentation, this business plan, and you have a schedule, you have a plan, and you have a reason to do the things you're doing, all of a sudden you're better than 87% of all the other agents out there. You just joined the 13% club because you are doing things with purpose, right? We're doing things with purpose. Most agents, and you guys can attest to this, they jump out of their house sometime during the day and they grab a hold of the tail of a tornado. They get spun around town by buyers, and then they're spit out at the end of the day, and they're so tired and they don't have any time for everything. But I still need to do a CMA. I have to put in this offer. I'm just so tired. I don't know how much it is, and they're not making the money they want to make, but they're really, really tired, right? And we don't want that to be you, right? That's what this whole thing is about, is coming up with systems and plans to do things that you need to do, right? And that's why that last one ended with do things that others won't today, so tomorrow you can do what others can't. So let's talk about generating leads. So I start off with, you can't complain until you've really tried. And this happens, oh my gosh, from my perspective, working with a company that I worked with before, I don't know if I should say the name, but it rhymes with Century Was No Fun. So you can't complain until you've really tried. And now I've been with EXP for 3 years, and I've met some really great agents over the last 20 years, right? And I've worked with some really, really good agents, and I've worked with some really nice people who were just terrible agents. That's just the way it is. I mean, you don't have to be an awful person to be a bad agent, but people will start complaining when they're not making any money. And then they start blaming everybody else. And I don't like being blamed. I do everything I possibly can to help agents, but I cannot be the blame. I'm not going to be the scapegoat because you didn't do what you were supposed to do, right? And people start complaining before they've even tried to really get out there and do things. So you have to earn the right to quit. That's why I tell people, what have you done to try to make money? What have you tried to build business or generate leads? You have to try everything. If you haven't tried everything, then don't complain until you have. And then once you've tried everything and it's not working, then show me how you're doing it, because you're probably doing it wrong, right? So we're going to talk about 25 different ways to generate leads. So buckle your seatbelts, keep your hands and feet inside the car as we roll, okay? So leads. This is what your goal is. As a CEO of your company, this is the only thing that you're concerned with. The only thing you should be concerned with are leads. Getting leads into your pipeline. I mean, you've got a wide funnel up here. You need to put leads in there every day. That's your goal. I wake up in the morning. How am I going to get a lead? How am I going to get an appointment? How am I going to do this? I need to do this today. I can't say, well, I hope I get some leads this week. How are you getting your leads? Where are you getting your leads from? I'm just sitting here waiting for like an oyster on the bottom of like a clam or whatever on the bottom of the ocean, wait for some poop to fall down. The truth is you need to get out there and go make it, CEO. You're the person in charge. You must consistently fill your funnel. More leads means you're ready for fallout, because deals fall apart. You know what's so awful is to get some leads and get them and have deals going into the pipeline, and you think they're going to close. You got one that's going to close, and you're like, oh man, that's going to get me out of a couple of jams. I'm so happy that I'm going to close this deal. Oh, I'm just going to babysit this deal. And I know I should be creating more leads, but I can't, because I got to make sure this deal doesn't fall out. But then it falls out because of things you can't control. And now you have no leads, you have no money, and you have no deal. So that's why you focus on only generating leads, and then the rest of it will take care of itself. We have other stuff we're going to learn how to do that we're going to put simple plans and processes in place to take care of all the other stuff. But the most important thing you need to do is generate business. So we're going to generate business. Excuse me. And lead generation is not complicated. And this is a very simple statement. Lead generation is not complicated. This is contacts equal appointments, equal presentations, equal contracts. And it boils down to what we talked about earlier, contacts, right? Contacts. Real estate is a contact sport. We have to make contacts, regardless of what it is. If you're buying leads from Zillow, God forbid, but they're sending you contacts to talk to, right? That's what you're buying a lead for. If you're buying leads from anybody, all they are is contacts. So you're trying to figure out how to make contacts so that you have to set an appointment with them. We're not there. And right now it's kind of easy because people are really, really wanting to buy houses. And there's more demand than there is supply. But what happens when that starts changing? Right now, we could be making more money and really leveraging this market because we could be smarter than the average agent, and we could be doing more by filling up our pipeline. And we'll be ready if we're doing the right things and we're creating the habits and systems now. We put our systems in place. So when the market shifts and everybody else that doesn't have one starts getting out of the real estate business, you'll be standing strong. So that's where we want to be. We want to know this is a very easy business. Well, easy is not, I'd say it's not a difficult business. It's not easy by any means. There's a lot of easier ways if you're making, you know, if you only want to make $40,000-$50,000 a year, I could give you a lot of, give you lots of other places to go. But if you want to make a lot of money and you look at this the right perspective, you realize it's not that hard. I just have to make enough contacts every day. You can only control your own actions. The only change you can really make is in what you do. I cannot control buyers, sellers. I can't control the market. I can't control the politicians, nor do I care to. I try my best to ignore all that stuff. You know why? Because nothing they're doing is going to help me get up in the morning and set an appointment. Nobody on CNN or Fox News or anyone cares if I get up today and make an appointment to go sell a house to feed my family. Right? All they want to do is distract me from doing that, making me mad, put me in a bad mindset. So I just ignore all of it, right? Because the only thing on this earth that I can control are my own actions. I can't control my kids. I can't control my spouse. I can't control the market, the oil, the real estate market will come and go. We can't control the stock market, but we can control what we do and how we react to those things. We don't fail because of what we don't know. And especially after this week, we're going to know a lot, right? We're going to know a lot, but we fail because of what we don't do. And this, again, this was another thing. One of my first broker told me, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. I've got to be the one to do it. I cannot complain or be mad at anybody if I'm not taking care of my business, because I'm the only one. This is where the buck stops. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. So I can have excuses or results, but I can't have both, right? I can have excuses, I can have results, but I can't have both. In this case, we're not going to have any excuses because everything I'm teaching you is 100% absolutely free, which is a big deal, right? I think it's a big deal. This is actually one of the reasons why Carmen Bean, when I told you about the top producer agent, she came to my company because I told her I could show her how to make money without spending money. And she's like, okay, well, I'm in, because she was broke too, right? So she needed to learn how to make money and without spending it. So I'm going to show you how to make money without spending it, and be the most well-rounded, best agent that you could possibly be. Every time I go online and I start looking, let me see how to create leads, right? It always comes back around to I have to spend money on something. Well, I'm a cheapskate. I don't want to spend money. I don't mind spending money on stuff. I don't mind trying stuff. But what I know, I'm not going to spend money on something that I could do myself, right? Once in a blue moon, I'll go out and buy a steak, but I can't cook a steak the way the restaurant cooks it, but I can cook a steak. But I'm not going to go out and generate and buy leads when I can get leads on my own without spending money, or that are just as good. Okay, that's the thing. The leads that you can generate are just as good or better, right? So you cannot do anything else until you've called every contact in your phone and use this script, okay? Bottom line, that's why it's number one. You should look in your phone. You don't have to do it right now. We did this with a group the other day, and it's always very eye-opening. Open your phone to your contacts and look how many contacts you have. Because everybody who says, I don't have a sphere of influence, I don't know what to do with them, blah, blah. Well, how many people do you have in your phone? 10, 20? Most people have over 100 people in their phone. Some people have a couple of thousand or more. I talked to someone who had 6,000 phone numbers in their phone. I'm like, who are those people? You know all those people? Because if you don't know them, maybe they shouldn't be in your phone. Why are they there? Are you stalking them? What are you making prank calls? What is it? Why are they there? Most likely it's because you know them, or they know you, or you've done some type of business or had some type of interaction. So they're all what you would call sphere of influence. Sphere of influence is not somebody that you're buddies with. They can be, but it's somebody who would know you by name, or you would know them somehow. That's what your sphere of influence is. So everybody in your contacts is your sphere of influence. So you don't have the right to do anything. You don't have the right to buy a lead or to do anything else until you've called everybody you know. That's what I look at it. Call everybody you know. I would much rather talk to people I know and like me that want to help me than to go out and spend $1,000 a month on Zillow. Hi, this is Rick. How you doing? Rick Koo. Oh, remember I bought some shingles from you. Oh yeah, Rick, how are you? Well, great. I was just wondering, do you have a minute? Sure. Well, hey, the reason I'm calling is to let you know that I'm now officially a real estate agent. Now you can put whatever you want to here, this is for a brand new agent, right? I'm calling because I'm just let you know that I'm now officially a real estate agent and I need your help. I'm updating my database and I realize I don't have your home address. Can I get that from you? Oh, right, right. Fantastic. Thank you so much. By the way, do you know anybody at the moment who may be looking to buy or sell a house? Well, no, not right now, Rick. Well, will you ask around or you keep me in mind? Sure, I'll definitely keep you in mind. Well, how about you? When do you plan on moving? Easy script, right? You have some small talk. You don't have to go straight through the script, but just ask the questions, right? And the reason you do this because you're resetting you're resetting and rebooting your relationship with these people. Whoever you're in your phone, you need to have a conversation. You need to have a reason to call them. And so now you're saying, oh, hey, do you have a minute? I'm now officially a real estate agent, or I'm in a coaching program, or I just moved to a different company and I'm updating my database and I realize I don't have your home address. Can I get that from you? If they ask you, why do you need my home address? We say, well, now that I'm serious about my business, there's a lot of cool things that I'll be sending out every month. And I just don't want you to miss out on any of it. Well, not every month, every now and then. There's a lot of cool things I'm going to be sending out every now and then. And I just don't want you to miss out on any of it. Most of the time people are going to say, sure, no problem. Here's my address. Because if they know you, or if they're business associates, or if they're family or friends of family, they're going to give you their address. If they don't want to give your address, just say, okay, no problem. Make sure I have your email is this and your phone number is this. Okay, fantastic. So if I ever come up with any specials or any free money, I'll send it over to you that way. Okay. All right. So this is how you start your business. You start your business by talking to every person you know. I know people right now that have been in the business for 6, 7, 8 years and still haven't called all their sphere of influence. And it blows my mind. And I don't know how I want to get business. Well, how do you think you're going to get business? You got to talk to these people. You don't know. You cannot read their minds. You don't know. Well, I know Aunt Clara doesn't need anything. How do you know? Have you talked to Aunt Clara about real estate? It's like a kick in the stomach. I was in HEB down here in San Antonio, and I was walking through the store, and I ran into my aunt. I haven't seen her in a long while because I avoid my family, right? Just like a lot of us do. And I couldn't avoid her there. I tried to duck around. I couldn't lose her. So I saw her say, hey, she called me Ricky. Hey, Ricky, what's going on? And I said, I'm doing good. And how are you doing? And she said, oh, I'm good. And we talked. We had small talk. And I have a cousin about my age. We grew up together. I said, well, how's James doing? Oh, he's doing real good. He just moved, and him and his wife just bought another house. I'm like, then all of a sudden my head went into a vacuum and I couldn't hear anything. All I could do was think. I could hear my heart beating and my rage building up about why didn't they buy from me? I grew up with these people. How come you didn't tell? So I worked it into the conversation, and I said, man, I wish I would have known. I could have helped him, probably saved him some money. You know, she said, oh my gosh, Ricky, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot that's what you do. And the reason she forgot is because I didn't call her, right? Again, I was avoiding her. That was what a lot of us do. That's what I do. I don't know if you do it, but I learned a lesson. My aunt knows people. My old mom, my older dad, they all know people, whoever that may or may want to buy now or in the near future. You never know. You don't have a crystal ball. You have to call everybody. So, and then when you ask them, do you know anybody who might be buying or selling? They say no. Okay, great. Well, how about you? When do you plan on moving? Because they might be thinking about it, but you just need to pull it out of them, right? So this is the number one thing you have to do. If you don't do this, you don't have the right to do anything else, right? So make sure you do that. We're not going to do this exercise, but you could do this exercise right now. I do this in our live sessions that I have people, I pull this script up and I have them call 10 people out of their phone, or not just 10 people, but I call and try to get as many leads as we can. You'd be surprised how many leads we can generate in just a couple of minutes by doing this exercise. They call, they say, hi, how are you? This might sound crazy, but I'm in the middle of a real estate course and I won't be able to finish and get my certification until I get 10 names and numbers of people who may want to buy or sell a home. Who do you know who's moving, looking for a home? Well, I don't know anybody. Nobody in your church, your job, a PTA network, neighbors, family members, nobody. Well, no, not really. Okay, great. Well, great, fantastic. Well, keep me in mind, would you? And how about you? When do you plan on moving? Almost the same thing we just did, right? Only we do it in a different, more urgent way, because people want to help you. Believe it or not, when they hear that I need your help. I need your help getting this certification. I need your help updating my database. That opens up a subconscious door, and they want to help you. You're not a burden. People like to help people they like, bottom line, especially if you don't have to give any money. All the information's great. I don't want to give you money, but I'll give you all the information you need. All right, so these are the first things that you should do, right? So work referrals. You got to work your referrals, create, add, and maintain a list of people you know. All those people that we know, you have on your phone, keep them in a list. And now that you've called them all, once you've called them all, right? Whether it's 100 or 1,000 or more, now you want to divide them by 20, because I want to call 5 days a week. I don't have people I can call. I don't want to call them every day. I don't want to call them every week. I want to call them once a month. So I take my list and I divide it by 20, and that's how many people I call every day, starting at the A's, and I work my way down. And I call them every month like clockwork. You call them every month and ask for referrals. You know anybody who's looking to buy or sell? Okay, great. Well, and then we have some small talk and we say, why don't we have lunch sometime? Fantastic. Why don't you come over for barbecue or something sometime? Whatever you want to say, but you start out every month. You've rebooted your conversation, your relationship, so you can have these conversations. And now you don't want to let them go. So every month, not every day, but every month, call them at least once. And then, but the way you do that, again, you have your list, you divide it by 20, get your number, and now you have that number of people you need to call every day. And you just go through your list, and by the end of the month, you'll be ready to start again. And you'll be surprised how many leads that you can build just by doing this. It's amazing. If you have a good sphere of influence, and if most people say they don't have one, like we talked about, but they do, they just don't realize it. And by cultivating these conversations, you're going to wind up getting more referrals than you ever would have if you paid for them, right? All right, so let's talk about renter leads and conversion. Find renters with upcoming lease renewal. So we're going to switch gears, right? So we're talking about ways to get business. So I cannot preach enough on people you know, people in your phone, right? We're going to return to that. We start talking about Facebook and social media. So don't think I'm done with talking about people you know. All right, so 4, renter leads and conversion. Find renters with upcoming lease renewals. How do we do that? I can find people. Every renter right now should want to buy a house. If they don't, they're crazy, right? If you now, don't get mad at me if you're renting a house. Just talk to me and I'll help you get on the path of home ownership, right? Because rates are 2% and 3%. They're like giving money away. And if maybe the reason is they don't have good credit, maybe it might be they're scared about maintenance, they just rented their whole life, they don't want to commit. But right now, if you have friends or family or loved ones or anybody or people, we're going to talk about strangers here in a second, that need a roof over their head, which is everybody, and they're paying rent or they're paying something out of their pocket, you should really tell them, I feel so sorry for you, because you're spending this money going out to a landlord every month when you could basically be getting a new house or your own house for less money every month. You should let me help you. Because that's what this is all about. I'm trying to help you, especially right now. Now, back in long time ago, I was selling houses for 11 and 12, 15%, if you can imagine, right? The rates were not great. I remember when people were going to work and there was something bragging because they got a 9% interest rate. Now it's like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. I would be not doing my job and not be a good person if I didn't try to talk people into stopping renting and start buying, right? Because you're just throwing money away. And it's not like you can't get it for a lot cheaper. I mean, it's going to be cheaper. The same house is going to be less expensive if you buy it. Okay, so here's a renter script, okay? Hi, my name is Rick. I'm with eXp Realty. Our records show that your lease may be ending soon. And I wanted to tell you about a couple of homes in the neighborhood that you can buy for the same or maybe even less monthly payment than you have now. Because when now this is a lot of times you can do this by phone or you can do it in person. I like to do this in person. I like to find these records, right? And I find out, and we're going to go back there and I'm going to talk about that. But I want to go to the door and say, look, I know that you're renting, and I know your lease is probably going to be coming up soon. And I wanted to tell you about homes in your neighborhood. Obviously, you like this neighborhood or you wouldn't be living here. And you're probably paying too much for this house. And I can get you a house right down the street that's probably nicer than this one for less than you're paying. That's what we want to be able to convey. We want to be able to convey that thought. Now, if you go to your MLS and you look up the rentals, right? Go to the MLS and look up the rentals and use the status that's rented. that's already rented. You're not going to look for anything on the market. You're going to look for everything that was rented. And then you can put in the subdivision you want or the zip code you want or whatever. You can use your own parameters because you're going to find tons and tons of them, right? So you're going to put in, I like to use the little higher end residential neighborhoods here, subdivisions. So there's one here in San Antonio called Rogers Ranch. It's not really, really expensive, but it's not cheap by any means, right? The rents in that area are about $3,500 a month. That's about right. So, and when I think about someone renting for $3,500 a month, it hurts my heart. So I already have the sympathy for these people. Unless they turn me away, then I don't have sympathy for them anymore. I just think they're stupid. But and that I did not say that, but I do give them the opportunity, right? So, take these rent. You go to MLS. You do a search for any neighborhood you want, and put in rentals, and then put the status in that was already rented, and then change your time frame to 12 months back. And the reason you're doing that is because you're going to find leads, people who signed a lease, it closed 12 months ago or sooner, right? I mean, sometime with at least the last 12 months. So, and usually if you look on the bottom, like in San Antonio, and it might be a little different on yours, it shows even on the renter, it says close date, which is the date it really closed. That's the rented date. It'll tell you what date it rented. So if it was 6 months ago, we probably, very good chance that they still have about 6 months left on their lease. So right now is a good time to get started, especially if you can find one that's like 3 to 6 months, right? Anywhere around 3 months, they need to start looking now. And so you can go out there and start talking to them before somebody else gets their hooks in them or before they sign another lease. So you can go in right now and you can pull up 1,000 leads of people in your city, maybe not the little small town. So I'm talking about a metropolitan area, but you can find a bunch of people who want to buy, who are renting and are probably going to rent again if you don't help them buy a house. And those are great leads. And then when you meet with them, either call them or talk to them on the phone, use a script. I want to tell you about a couple of homes in the neighborhood that you can buy for the same or maybe even less money than you have right now. And then they say, well, I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I think I'm just going to stay around. And you could say something like, if you could buy, and I put these dots because these are, you want to accentuate this, right? Well, let me ask you this. If you could buy in the same neighborhood for less than rent, why wouldn't you? And then you just get real quiet, right? You're like, the Jeopardy theme goes on back and forth in your mind, right? Till they say something. If you could buy in the same neighborhood for less than rent, why wouldn't you? And then they're going to talk to you and about why they shouldn't. And then maybe you can find the real objection and you could get them on the path to home ownership, right? That's kind of where we're going throughout this whole thing, getting everybody on the path to home ownership. So why are you renting? They usually say the same things. They don't have money they don't have any savings. They don't have anything for down payment. They think their payment's going to be higher. I don't want to be responsible for maintenance. Those are the three biggies, right? They're so used to renting, they like their landlord to take care of everything. They think their payment's going to be higher. They think they need a lot of money for down payment. So then you come back with this. Well, what if I could get you into a home with no money down in a comparable or nicer home? Now, I'm not saying I can. This is what if, right? What if I could get you into a home with no money down in a comparable or nicer home for the same or lower payment and provide a top of the line home warranty that would cover anything the landlord would have to fix? And then I say that and I get real quiet and they go, well, I don't know. Maybe that would work. Do you think you can do that? I think it's a very good chance. We just need to get you qualified for the no money down program. And boom, you start looking at houses. And then you want to just get them before you talk too much about money. We're going to talk about this when we talk about our conversion script. Before you talk too much about money or down payment or qualification or anything, try to get an appointment to let them see a house, right? Try to show them a house, show them what they could be missing. Renters, if you're in a house, like if I'm out at Rogers Ranch and this guy's living in this house, he's making rent, I'll say, you know what? There's a house right down the street. Have you seen the house for sale? Yeah, I've seen this for sale. You want to go look at it? Let me see if I can schedule it real quick. Let's go take a look. Because if they go look in that house and they go, holy moly, what is the price on this house? And you go, well, this house actually is going to come out less than what you're paying in rent. What? They're going to be hooked. You got to show them something, right? Show them a house. Anyway, so we'll talk about more of that later. So when somebody, I don't know how people get renter inquiries, they do. And I think Op City, someone talked about Op City earlier, Op City sends you renter inquiries, right? So there's these two companies that I love. I think they're awesome, but they may not be all. There's a good chance that one or both will be available in your area. There's some small areas they don't do business in, so please forgive me if you go look for them and they're not using your area. But I think it's a very, very good proposition, right? These are both lease to purchase companies. You have Home Partners of America and Divvy Home Sales, right? So these two companies will buy the house that your client's looking for and will lease it back to them until they're ready to buy, right? They can stay in the house for up to 3 years and work on their credit or save money or whatever they want to do. Or maybe they just want to take the house for a test spin, right? Let me see if I even like this neighborhood. And if they like the neighborhood, they can buy the house. If they get their credit score up, they can buy the house anytime within 3 years, right? So, and all to qualify, you have to have a 550 credit score, which is fantastic, right? Because right now it's probably a 620 to get into a house. Some lenders can do 580, but they're usually full of you know what. But usually 620 or above is the magic number. Max DTI of 50%, which is also really good because a lot of times it's 35 to 41%. They have to have a steady income and no evictions or bankruptcies. These are the reasons these are the qualifications to you get into a house with Home Partners of America or Divvy Home Sales. I will tell you that I used to use this, I still do, but when I was training people to do Craigslist ads, we would do lease with option to purchase or lease with option to buy, whatever we wanted to say, and we would get people calling in, and obviously we'd get them qualified for this right away, and then we would get them rolling. I had a young lady, her name was Stephanie, and she was doing this, and she just decided she was going to go. She went crazy with it. She didn't look at the parameters, and she put this really a little higher end house for San Antonio. It was about 580, I think it was, say 580, 590, I think is what they were asking for the house. She put that on with a lease with option to buy. This couple gets in touch with her, and they go see the house. They love the house. They would put it off. They want to do it. And then they tell, of course, Home Partners said is we were using, and they said, no, we can't because it's too expensive. Our top is 550. Now think about that. They'll do a lease with option to purchase up to $550,000, right? So we went and we negotiated because it was going to be a cash deal. If Home Partners does it, it's going to be cash. And at this time, of course, it was a different market, but we got it for 550. That young lady made a huge commission within 3 weeks of that because she actually advertised lease with option to buy on a higher end house. Because a lot of people have the misconception this is for people that don't have money. And all people that have money don't have great credit. There was another one on the other side of town here in town. They live in a neighborhood near a country club, and all their friends belonged to this country club. You had to live in the neighborhood, and they wanted to live there so bad. They had money, but their credit, for some reason, I didn't ask, but their credit was messed up. But so they couldn't buy in this neighborhood. But we helped them buy 500,000 plus house, and voila, they were in. They loved us. They thank you for getting us into a country club. We'd love to spend money, right? So they were able to get in, and they loved the house. And I've sold hundreds of homes using these type of programs, these two, and I've never had one complaint. My entire office, we were the number one Home Partners of America office in the state of Texas, and we actually, I think it might have been bigger than that, but let's just say Texas, and we have never had one complaint. People love it. So I would definitely go in. There's two. I have the have homepartners.com and divvyhomes.com /agents. This is where you go to sign up as an agent and try to convert every rental lead that you get, whether it comes from Op City or whether it comes from the ads you have out there, anything that you have, any type of person said, I'd like to talk about leasing this house. Fantastic. I assume you're calling about our with option to buy program. No, I didn't know you had one. Oh, you're kidding. Whether you plan to buy or never want to buy, this program will get you into better homes and at least provide options when you're ready. I can meet you today at 3 or 5. Which one works better for you? So when you get a rental lead, try to convert them to a lease with option to buy and see if they'll be willing to do that. Because if they are, then you get paid your full 3% instead of the $250, right? $250, $300. It usually comes with a rental. Who wants to do that? And if it's an Op City, Who wants to do that and pay a referral fee to Op City when I could flip it to a purchase and make a lot more money, right? So that's what you want to do. And so you can go out right now and you can find renters, people who are going to be renting again or buying in the next 3 to 6 months. And you can use this script and you can talk to them about why they should buy instead of why they're renting. And then you can go out and you say, well, we've got this program, for them or for other people, they've got these great programs that you at least with an option to purchase. If you can't qualify right now, maybe you can qualify later, but at least you can be living in the home of your dreams and you're on the path to home ownership, right? That's the idea. So we're going to do that. We're going to put them into a home partners. And if we get a lead or Divvy Homes, and if we get a lead, that's a rental. We just say, hey, great. I assume you're calling about our rent with option to buy program. No, I didn't even know you had one. They're always taken aback when you say it right. Oh, you're calling about our lease with option to buy. No, I didn't know you had one. Oh, you're kidding. Well, whether you plan to buy or not is irrelevant. This program will get you into better homes and at least provide options when you're ready. And I can meet with you today at 3 or 5, whichever works better for you. All right, so that's awesome, right? So these are great ways to generate business. This renter conversion, you get any type of rental lead you use this, and man, you change those renters into buyers and you make a lot more money. All right, number 7, businesses. Now, don't tell me you don't remember businesses. You can walk out your front door, turn left or right, probably run into a business in less than 5 minutes, right? So businesses, go to any business, ask to speak to the person in charge or whoever's available. Hey, can I speak to the manager? Well, the manager's not here right now. Who's in charge right now? Oh, great. Well, my name is Rick. I'm with eXp Realty. How you doing? The reason I'm here because I wanted to see if anybody in your area, in your store here, your business, was planning on moving. No, I don't know of anybody. Well, how about you? When do you plan on moving? Oh, I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. And then you say, okay, great. Then you leave. And when you leave, you write a note. You have their address, you have their name, you write a note, you drop it in the mail, and they get that. And they're like, oh, look, this realtor sent me a card for thanking me for coming over. Now, I will give you a real life example. I went to a place here in town. It used to be called man, gosh, I can't forget. Wetmore Store. Wetmore Store. I'm like, man, let's go eat. Let's go. I took an agent. Let's go have lunch over Wetmore. And we went over there, and Wetmore had changed to Grady's. I'm like, I don't want Grady's. But I don't have time to go anywhere else. So let's go into Grady's. And everybody was different. All the staff was gone. They had all new staff. So instead of complaining that they didn't have the same barbecue that I was going to get at Wetmore Store, I'm like, okay, well, since I have to have Grady's, I'm going to go and I'm going to ask for the manager and ask him if he knows anybody in his staff that's wanting to buy. Walked up to the store. I walked up to the manager and I asked the guy, hey, can I talk to the manager? And they thought I was going to complain, obviously, but they brought the manager over there. He looked scared. I said, hey, the reason I asked for you is because I know you guys are all new here. And I thought maybe you might know somebody in your staff that might be looking to buy or looking for a new home in the area. And he says, as a matter of fact, I just got transferred here and I'm renting and I would really like to buy a home in the area. And then I heard a cash register, but nobody else was in line because I'm like, yes, I am going to sell this guy a house. So I gave that lead to that agent that was with me because he was scared to go up there. And I said, look, man, just give me 25% referral fee and we're good because you need this money more than I do. So he learned a good lesson that day that you can go in anywhere, ask for the manager or somebody in charge and ask them, hey, do you know anybody who's looking to buy or sell real estate? You have an unlimited amount of leads. Unlimited amount of leads of people who may turn into leads. You have your renters, you have your sphere of influence, and you have businesses. There are so many businesses in every city. It's crazy. And if you don't get one that day, you go back to another business the next day. You don't have to go from business to business to business. Just go in when you're in the neighborhood and talk to them, follow up. And this is the first time we've seen this handwritten note thing that we're going to talk a lot about. When you've met somebody for the first time and you've had a conversation with them and they were open to talking to you, always send them a handwritten note thanking them for their time. Go down to the dollar store if you're cheap and buy a package of dollar thank you notes and then put it in the mail. When you go on an appointment, when you go on, whether it's a buyer or a FSBO or an expired or a listing appointment, whatever it might be, write a note and mail it before the day's over. Put it in the mailbox, handwritten note, so they know that you are sincere and that you're standing apart. Because people don't get that type of stuff anymore. And And this is great follow-up, and we'll talk more about that as we go. So if you want to go out tomorrow and pick up some handwritten, not handwritten notes, but some notes that you can write on, that'd be great. Number 8, builders, a visit. Builder reps every week. Like I said, in our business plan, we have a day of the week we're going to go out. You want to go visit your builder reps, pick a clump. They're always in 2 or 3 or 4 different builders in an area, and go talk to them and find the ones that are actually going to give you the time of day and treat you right. Right. So now don't go out there going, hey man, you let me do an open house in your place, because they all builders think that all you want is their referrals, right? Or what you can do, what they can do for you. But if you go out there and you start trying to build a rapport with a builder, not all of them are going to give you the time of day, but some of them will, right? You build a rapport. And what it says here is take interest in their story. So what you do, the way you build a rapport is to ask questions. And I have a whole class on asking questions and building rapport and all that stuff, because agents talk way too much. People talk way too much. And they try to talk themselves into something, talk somebody into something when they're most of the time they're talking their way out of it. So you say, hi, how are you? My name is Rick. I'm with eXp Realty, and I really want to help you sell some houses. I know you guys are doing great right now, but man, I just really want to I love your product. I really want to see if I can bring some buyers out here. And then they say, well, great. I like that too. Fantastic. And then you say, so how long you been doing this? So now you start, how long you been working here? Have you been in the builder area arena for a while? And then in every question they answer turn into another question, not an interrogation, but a conversation where you're finding out about them, and then finding out about their product, and finding out about why they like selling Meritage homes, and what do you think makes Meritage stand apart from everybody else, and all that good stuff. And maybe you don't care, but at least you're showing them that you care, right? That they think you care. And then when you leave, after, whether you had any success or not, you write a handwritten note, say, hey, thank you so much, Joe, for taking time to speak with me. I know you're super busy, but man, it's great. I look forward to seeing you again. And you put that in the mail. Don't put any hearts or anything on it. Or seal with a kiss or anything like that, because that's a little weird. But what you want to do is just put thank you so much, and then put it in the mail and to the model, and they'll get it, and they'll see it. They'll go, oh my gosh, this is the only realtor who ever has sent me a handwritten note. And I can tell you, because I've been on the other side of that when you find people who actually you feel that sincerely take an interest in you and in your business, and you know your story and get to know about your family and all that good stuff, you're going to be the one that they call when they have a referral, or they want to put you on a deal or something. And you'll be surprised how you build business with that, right? You're going to build business by building a relationship with builders. And not only that, you're going to get a better deal. You're not going to have builders these guys, at least that you've built this reputation with, they're not going to try to undercut you or get you out of the deal. If someone shows up and they say, hey, Rick is my realtor, that guy is my friend now, and he's going to tell me, well, let's get Rick on the phone. But if they don't know you, or if you haven't been out there to see them and you haven't taken an interest in their story, you're just wide open. And so I'm telling you, these guys can help you, and builders can help you. The reps can help introduce you to managers. The managers can help introduce you to the VPs, and they can help you get those listings that all these big teams have, right? All the big teams have these builder listings. You'd be surprised. They all started with 1 or 2. And they just built up. They didn't go out there one day and say, I think I want to start listing builder homes, right? They had to start somewhere. And it's usually because they started with a conversation. You're like, well, I don't have time for that, Rick. Well, that's because you don't have it on your schedule. Make time in your schedule to go talk to a builder an hour a week, right? Go out and talk to 4 builders. Take an hour to go talk to each one of them for 15 minutes. It's not that hard, right? Once a day, once a week, on a Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, right? So do that. Very, very simple. Do it, but don't make excuses why you can't. And don't complain when you say, well, how come those guys get all those listings? Well, that's because you didn't do what Rick told you to do. All right. So we're going to number 9, open houses. Goes without saying that open houses are awesome right now because there's so much inventory. I mean, very little inventory and high demand. You want to maximize your results, right? So this is just I have a whole cheat sheet on Rick training I showed you earlier, a cheat sheet on how to do all this stuff, because there's some things that are going to make your open houses more successful. I have my open house class is called Stop Wasting Your Weekends. Don't go out there and sit around and just hope that somebody jump like hoping a fish jumps in your basket, right? Or in your net. You have to be proactive. So you're going to schedule the open house, obviously acquire a ton of signage and balloons, break the bank, go out there and buy some signs and balloons or borrow some signs from somebody, go and mug a clown and take his balloons, whatever you got to do to get balloons and signs to get people out there, right? Now, please don't go tell people I said to mug a clown, because I don't want you to mug a clown. Obviously, that's a joke, even though some of them probably need it. Have entry forms for drawings, right? We want to make sure, and I'm going to give those to you. You're going to have entry forms, and you're going to have a giveaway. I usually get a giveaway for my lender. I say, can you contribute something to this, to my open houses, and I'll get you all the leads, right? The lender that I use that's on my business plan. And of course, they usually give me a big basket that looks really cool with some cool stuff in it, or a gift card somewhere really cool. And I use that as bait to get these prospective clients information. Because if not, you're going to go in there with that big book that looks like that should be used at a funeral home, where you sign and give your last respects. Don't do that, because they're going to put the wrong information in there. If I have a prize and I have a drawing, and they fill out the form, they're always going to give me the right information. That's the bottom line. And while they're there, they come in, I greet them, I have them fill out I show them the contest, I show them the drawing, I should say, and then I have a conversation. And on the cheat sheet, there's going to be things that you should say when you get there and things you say when they leave, right? You have switch properties available. When I say switch properties, you have houses in the same neighborhood that are for sale. Because 95% of the time, they're not going to like this house. They're going to come in. Now, right now, that's a little bit higher than usual. And that's probably a little skewed because of the lack of inventory. But they still don't like this house. They're just looking, or they're going to tell you they don't like this house. They want to see some other houses. And you say, well, that I have 4 other houses in the neighborhood, or 2 other houses in the neighborhood that are for sale, and I got a key. I can open them both. Want me to shut down here about 3, and I can meet you back here, and I can go show you those houses. But you're ready for them. You don't just say, well, why don't we get together next week and why don't we see if we can go look at some houses, because you're going to lose them. You're going to lose them. I'm going to teach. If you follow the cheat sheet, you're going to learn how to do the open houses right. You get your drawings filled out. You get your drawing entry forms filled out. You make the right conversation. You let them walk around the house. You talk to them. Say, hi. I don't know if that's on the next page or not. Nope. It's on the cheat sheet. It's what to say when they get there, and then don't let them leave without talking to them. Stay off of TikTok for a while so that you can talk to them. Okay. And I don't care if you do everyone always focuses on the wrong things on open houses. I don't care about if the house smells like cookies. I don't care if there's water. I don't care any of that stuff, right? The only thing I care about the open house is to have a place to sit, and is their toilet paper, right? In case something happens. But what I do care about is the conversation I'm going to have when they get there and when they leave, because I'm going to set an appointment. And if I can't set an appointment, then I'm going to follow up with them consistently, because I have the right information to do so. All right, builders open house is kind of the same thing. When you build up a rapport with those builders, ask them if they allow you to do open houses on their specs. I don't care if I sit in their model. I don't really like that myself, but I do like just hanging out by myself in doing open houses in their specs. If they have any specs, I'd like to do an open house there, because people will bypass the sales office because they don't want to talk to the salesperson, but then they're sitting there and I've got my web woven and I'm ready for them, right? So then I just follow the general open house steps. And again, that's on the whole kit and caboodle is on ricktraining.com. All right, so don't waste your time if you're not going to have a system for doing open houses, okay? Now let's talk real quick about Craigslist. There's a cheat sheet on how and what to post on Craigslist. If you print that out, you'll find there's lots of places and lots of things you can advertise. You can advertise other agents' listings. All you gotta do is say, hey, do you mind if I post your listings on Craigslist, or you mind if I use your listings for marketing? Most of them are going to say okay. Some of them are going to be butthead, say no, because I'm not doing it, so why am I going to let you? But most of them are going to let you, right? So just shoot them a text or email and ask them, is it okay? And then if you're in an area where there happens to be some foreclosures, you can use HUDHomestore.com. The foreclosures are kind of low right now, but they're coming back. There's usually some there in your county. You can go find some there to post. And I love posting those because I can say foreclosures, save thousands, all that good stuff on Craigslist. Any listings that you have, obviously you could post. In builder homes, I love posting new construction too. So I can post builder homes. And on the cheat sheet, you're going to see if you're posting a builder house, do not put the name of the builder on there, and don't put the addresses on anything. You put the price, you put the type of house, you put pictures of the house, but you don't put anything that they can just drive by the house. That's what it comes down to. You have to have them call you and have your phone number on there. Now, you can post manually, or you can use KV Core. KV Core is an amazing tool to post automatically on Facebook, on Craigslist. But if you really want to be effective, use the cheat sheet that I'm giving you to edit the post to be the most effective. Don't just take what they give you. You have to be kind of smart, right? We're smarter than the average bear, so we're going to change it around a little bit before we post. All we have to do is change a couple of sentences, put our phone number in, and hit post. Very easy. And then the next one is how and what to post on Facebook Marketplace, because Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace are very, very, they're similar in a lot of ways. They're just different responses. And I have the responses here as well. What to post on Facebook Marketplace, same thing, the listings that we talked about. Try to do 5 a day. I do think, since I wrote this, the algorithm on Facebook changes all the time. So I would probably do 5, anywhere from 3 to 5 ads a day instead of 5 to 10 right now, because they may get a little nervous and think you're spamming them. Craigslist, it's okay, but at least do 3 or so ads a day consistently every day. Every day is the key word, right? Even if you're only posting 1 ad a day, do it every day. Choose a different listing and put something cool in there that's gonna be a hook, right? We're gonna do a whole class on hooks, on how to get people to respond to you. But this is a cheat sheet on how to get started like that. Okay, so what to post on Craigslist, and then how you can use the same houses that you posted on Craigslist and do it on Facebook Marketplace. And it tells you what's going to happen. They're going to message you. They say when they're going to say, "Is this available?" And you're going to say yes. When would you like to see it? And then there's a whole text conversation that's going to go on until you get their phone number and you get an appointment. So just follow those rules and follow these guidelines. Okay, organic social social media lead generation. This is how, when you're on your regular Facebook page, Instagram, or whatever, post your ads, open houses, and journal announcements on your newsfeed, but don't make that the only thing you do. Make that about 30 to 40% of what you do at all. At most, 30 is a good number to shoot for, because people will unfollow you. And if they unfollow you because all you're doing is doing ads and open houses and posting your picture about EXP and trying to recruit people and stuff, they'll unfollow you so you don't see them, right? So you want to pepper that in with some interesting stuff. I hate posting stuff. I'm a very, very private person. But what I've learned to do is post things I don't care if anybody sees. And I've learned that I post how to post things that people that will like it. I don't even know why. I got a new Traeger. My daughter got me a grill for Christmas, right? Or for my birthday. And so I made a big deal out of it on Facebook, and whenever I cook something, I post it on there. You'd be surprised the engagement I get, right? And then I'm doing that. I never post anything political, never post anything negative, but I post things that are fun, what I think are funny, and silly, or sometimes inspirational, and a lot of times just make you hungry, right? Those are the things I think that, and you get good engagement. And then every now and then, every a couple of times a day, I'll post something about real estate. And there's a list, there is a script. Here's for your Facebook page. I have clients that are looking to purchase a home but haven't found anything yet. My clients need to close in 30 days. If you know somebody, if you or somebody you know are considering selling, please let me know ASAP. I may be able to sell your home without it even going on the market. Post this every couple of weeks on your Facebook page, because I promise you, even if you don't have buyers right now, we have buyers that that need houses, and this will get your friends thinking, "Oh, I forgot Rick was in real estate. I need to ask him a question," and you'll be so surprised. And then talking about your sphere of influence, everybody who friend with on Facebook, send them an instant message. Just send them a message. Don't say anything. Don't preface it. Just say, "Do you know anybody who may be moving to San Antonio?" Or not moving to San Antonio, but moving. Or, "Do you know anybody who wants to buy or sell a house?" Whatever you want to say, just do a quick message out there and see what you get. It's like chum in the water. We're going to throw a whole bunch out there. Pick so many people a day you're going to do. Some of you have a lot of friends on Facebook. So just do a few a day, do 10 a day, 20 a day, and just say, do you know anybody who may be moving? You have to do them individually, so it takes a little bit more time. But you'll be surprised, 5 or 4 out of 20 are probably going to come back and say, I don't know anybody, but I'll help you out. And or some will say, yes, I do. I need to move, right? You'll be surprised. I've seen some of the worst people in the world get leads and close deals off of their Facebook messages, like by doing this. This one person, I told this story. I'm not have time to tell all my stories, but this person was a terrible person. She was at my office for a while. She didn't like anybody. She didn't want to do any training. She didn't want to, and I say she's a terrible person. I'm sure someone loves her, but the truth is, I finally said, look, if you want to do anything, I can't change the training, but I will tell you, if you don't want to do any of this stuff, do this. And I told her, I gave her this thing to do. Just send this to as many people on Facebook a day as you can. Within a month, she had 7 listings. Holy moly. I mean, who knows? You just got to do it, right? And then if you're using, this doesn't work as good to me in Facebook as it does in Twitter. Twitter's pretty cool. If you go to the search bar and type in I put moving to San Antonio, but moving to your area, you'll be surprised how many people have posted their life out there, right? We're moving to San Antonio. And then of course you have to weed through them to find out if it's a sports team or if it's some teenager that's ticked off because they're moving to San Antonio or whatever. But in between all of that, you're going to find people who are actually moving to San Antonio, and you can respond to their tweet and say, hey, I'd love to help you find a place. Whether if you're looking to buy or rent, either way, I'll be glad to help you. And again, here's the post to the Facebook page. Number 15, look, we have 10 left and we're doing really well on time. All right, so events. Be involved in your community events. I know it's kind of hard right now with COVID, but whatever you can do, try to be involved in your HOA, local schools, and all that stuff. It's because it's going to come back. If you can find any places doing events, try to set up a booth with drawings for giveaways to capture their info, and partner with a lender to help you with that kind of stuff. And then follow up consistently. This is the theme, right? Follow up, follow up, follow up. Get their real information. That's the reason we always want to have a giveaway, because they'll give you the real information, and then follow up, follow up, follow up. This is something I like to do because I look for stuff for the house. I like old stuff. Matter of fact, I'm looking for a 1970s German-made fake fireplace, and it's a fireplace bar and phonograph and 8-track player. The bar's on one side, the phonograph and sound equipment on this side, with a fake fireplace underneath. So if you guys know, if anyone has that, let me know, because I'm looking for it. But I go to estate sales and do stuff like that, and you start going out there, you say, hey, so why are you guys moving? Well, we're moving because my mom, she passed away or whatever, and they'll tell you if you just ask. People would be surprised how many people will ask. Even at yard sales, you go to yard sales, say, hey, how much is this? It's 50 cents. I'll give you a quarter for it. Actually, I'll give you 75% if you give me a lead. I'll give you 75 cents if you give me a lead. No, but kind of joking around. But the truth is, you talk to them, you have a little conversation. You say, so why are you selling this stuff? Are y'all getting ready to move? And you'd be surprised how many people say, yes, we're getting ready to move. Yard sales and estate sales, fantastic place to go, and you can have a little fun while you're at it, right? Farmers markets, flea markets, and swap meets. This slows down a little bit, but they're still out there because people love their flea markets and their farmers markets, right? Two totally different crowds, though, right? A flea market and a farmers market. But go out and hang out with whichever one you like, right? Go and walk around, take your dog and eat some kale chips or whatever they do at farmers markets, or you can go out and hang out at a flea market and rent a little booth or a little table, and again do some type of a giveaway, get people to come to your table and say, hey, when you think about buying a house, you think about buying or selling, and tell them all about why they should. And next thing you know, you're a ton of leads. I went out one day and I didn't realize it was the playoffs here in San Antonio. The Spurs were playing. This was a few years ago, back when they were good, right? But the truth is, I went out there. It was cold. It was playoff day. There were still people. I came away with 25 leads, 20 or more. I would say 25 good leads. I had a whole bunch of people wrote down names and stuff, but I had leads to follow up with, and it was great. Just go out and find places to set up shop that's cheap to do, cheap or free, and talk to people. And when I say here, partner with your lender. At that time, I partnered with I used to partner up and stuff like that with a credit repair guy, because hey, I figured at a flea market, I might be able to find people with not so great credit. All right, here's the seller squeeze page. We're getting a little bit into sellers. These are all been buyers, right? And maybe some sellers, but these are specifically sellers. So number 18 is the seller squeeze page. It's very simple to do. And I will show you, I think I have a presentation here in the next couple of days that shows you how to do this, right? On KV Core. All you got to do is do it's called a seller squeeze, right? You go to KV Core, do a seller squeeze, and then put in the city or the zip code or whatever, and it'll create a squeeze page for you. It'll say homes in San Antonio are averaging about 350 or whatever it is right now, and it'll say to find out your home's value, plug in your address, and then it asks them for other stuff, right? And this says, as a realtor, my friends are always asking me if I can tell them the value of their home using a proprietary home valuation program. I created a really cool tool that will instantly tell you the value of your home. Just click and pop in your address, and you'll be surprised by putting out. People will put their address in, and the only reason people will put their address into something like this normally is because they want to sell, or they want to refinance, so they want to know what their house is going for. And I know that if you contact them, they might just want to talk to you about selling their house. I know this because we do a lot of deals with Open Door. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Open Door, but people are selling their houses so quickly right now, to them, because they don't want to, just because they don't want the hassle of selling. You'd be surprised when someone sees that online, they see that, you're like, I could sell your house for this amount of money and get it done in a week or two, and they'll love you, right? All right. So this is a good way to use KV Core to grab a seller every now and then. Expired listings. We have a whole section coming up on expired listings and FSBO. So this is just a preview, but this is the reason you want to work on expired listings, because they need to sell. You call them every day consistently and use a script that I provided to you. You set appointments. You be aggressive, but nice. Never be ugly. Don't take no for an answer until you just go through. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. Follow up consistently, target 5 expires every day to go see. You call the ones you can, you go see the ones you can, and then you send a note to the ones that talk to you, and you follow up consistently. Kind of the same thing with a FSBO, but the truth is every FSBO needs to sell. Agents think FSBOs eat their young, but they really don't. Most of them anyway. The truth is that 90% are going to end up selling with an agent anyway. So if I targeted one a week for every week for 50 weeks, I would have 50 that I am following up with. And if 90% of those sold with an agent, there's a good chance I'm going to get a good amount of those. So I just have to meet them. I have to meet them and talk to them. And then I'm going to give you a system how to do that. And then there's this thing I call the rule of 5. Wherever you're going, wherever you're visiting a listing, going to an open house, going to show a property, always knock on the 2 doors next door and then across the street. There's 3 across the street. Most neighborhoods are set up like that. They have 2 houses next door and then 3 across the street. You go knock on those doors, say, hi, I was just showing the home across the street, or I'm setting up an open house for the house across the street, and I have several buyers who would like to buy in this area. Have you considered selling your home? Okay, great. Fantastic. And if you get their information, send them a note. Thank you so much for meeting with me the other day, allowing me to talk to you about selling your home. It's so simple. You have a reason that you're there. You don't have to go and knock on doors all over the place. If you don't want to, nobody likes to do that. But if you go out and see a house, 2 or 3 houses a week, and you knock on 5 doors on every listing, and everyone you go see, then that's quite a few houses that you've knocked on with a reason to knock on the door. I was just showing this house, and I have buyers in this area. Have you thought about selling your house? Well, I have thought about selling my house. Fantastic. Don't tell anybody else. Let me bring my buyers, because we could probably sell it without even putting it on the market. I mean, how easy is that, right? Fish in a barrel. Okay, so number 22. Advertise seller finance homes. Now, this is a little harder, but they are out there. Because I went on 2 or 3 different MLSs, and I found you just put in either first seller carrier, owner finance, whatever it is that is whatever they call it in your area, and see how many are out there, right? And then call the listing agent and say, hey, I would like to advertise your house, your seller finance. I'm going to be doing a campaign, and I'd like to do a seller finance campaign on your house. And they go, sure, no problem. And someone will, someone won't, but you have to ask. And then you advertise it, and it's really great. It's because when you start advertising seller finance homes, people will, what's the word? I don't know, they're like a horde like they will come out in droves, right? They will call you, hey, because they've been turned down or whatever. And then you can get them into one of the systems that we're going to talk about throughout the week, how to get them in, how to get them qualified, how to get them into a owner, one of the lease with option to buy, or actual seller carry if that house works for them, right? So it's a really good way to generate leads, right? You set appointments and then you do the interview, which we're going to go over later, and then you can have people to talk to, because these are all people who want to buy houses, but they don't think they can, so they're clamoring for seller finance, right? And then you interview them, you talk to them about getting them on the right path to home ownership and how they're going to save them money by going maybe try to get them into a mortgage first, and then try to get them into a lease with option to buy, and then go to the first seller carry. You'd be surprised how many people are out there that just need someone to help them. All right. And then working your farm. Here's the really quick way to know how to work your farm. What is your farm? Usually I would say the neighborhood you live in, but if you don't live in a neighborhood that you want to work, then you can always find one. Usually in the MLS, there's a thing called the courthouse retrieval system or something like that. And you just choose your subdivision in the county. And then you can find every house in that neighborhood. You print the list, and then you can go, I'm a big list and process person. I check off everybody that I talked to today, and there's 10 today. So if it's out in my neighborhood, I'm at home, I'm just going to walk out and talk to 10 people. And then the next day I go a little bit further and talk to 10 more people. And I introduce myself, say, hey, I was just in the neighborhood, thought I'd let you know. I don't know if you know how hot the area is, but how hot the market is, but we have so many more buyers than we have sellers. And we're wondering if you thought about selling your house. Okay, great. Well, if you think of anybody that may want to sell their house, please let me know. And you do that. If you do that 10 times a day in your neighborhood, it might take you a couple of months or whatever to finish it, but you've talked to everybody, then you can start over. And you can send, and the ones who actually give you good feedback or actually give you a referral or something, you can send them a note, and you can go back by and thank them or whatever. And that just builds more credibility on your part and more rapport, and you get more referrals. It's just a way. Going out and knocking on 100 doors tomorrow, it might get you a deal, but it's mostly just going to make you tired, right? So if you could do something consistently, there's a saying that says that small steps daily are way more effective than a big step every now and then. Because if you go out there all gung-ho doing something big, which is great to do, take big steps, if you can do them consistently, that's fantastic. But if you cut that elephant up into smaller bites, you can finish the elephant, and you would be surprised how many deals you get out of your farm when you do it the right way. 24 is follow-up. And we don't have to go into this, but follow-up is where 70% of all your results are going to come from, because you're going to get your instant gratification. But if you don't learn to follow up correctly, then you're not going to make the money you want to make, right? You're going to be always a squirrel looking for a nut when you've got all of them. You got all these people that should be buying from you, but you don't know how to follow up in there, and you don't have a system. So we're going to have a follow-up system. Follow-up is the key. They say that the fortune is in the follow-up, and it's 100% true. And number 25, help pre-foreclosures. This is a little bit emotional, a little bit tricky, but every county clerk's website, usually the smallest to the largest city, they have a place on there for their foreclosures, because they have to, by law, they have to post them, right? So the county clerk website will have a foreclosure section. You can go in there and you can print out everybody who has been told their house has been foreclosed on and maybe going to auction, right? Then you go talk to them, say, hey, I understand things are going bad. If you come up with a story to relate with them, it's even better. Family member or something that may have gone through this, or someone that you've helped before. I know it looks really tough right now, but I'm here to help you. I'd love to help you try to get out of the foreclosure. If nothing else, we can help you find a house and help you get this one sold, so it doesn't show as a foreclosure on your credit. And they say, well, how is that going to happen? Because it's going to be sold. It's supposed to be sold next week. Well, I'm not saying we can, but if you give me the number to your contact over there at the bank, maybe I can call, and they'll give us a little bit more time if they know you're listing a house. And that's basically what they do. Most banks will give you more time if they know you're going to list the house. If you can talk to the right people, you have to talk to them. So, and then, some of these people, they don't want to buy right now, or excuse me, sell right now, but after a few more times of trying, they've maybe put it off, gotten it modified, try to get a modification, because most lenders are trying to work with their people right now, but if they can't get it done, then maybe they'll let us sell the house for them. And that's a really good way to generate business. All right. So with that being said, that is the end of that presentation.